2026, and you're listening to the Tech Addicts Podcast. Brace yourself. This week, news on the Samsung Galaxy Book6 Ultra, Beelink sticking 10GB Ethernet into their mini PCs, Chinese audio amplifiers are a good bit cheaper than what they replicate, Lenovo are kicking up a bit of controversy over their Game Boy phone. Hello and welcome to the Tech Addicts Podcast. We're back for another blaze through all the bits and pieces of the tech world to keep you up to date with all of the exciting bits and bobs that are going about. I'm Gareth, and we've cherry-picked some rather lovely little tech stories for us to have a chin wag about, and I'm going to be wagging my chin with Mr. Ted Salmon. How are you, Ted?
Hello, everyone. Hope you all had a lovely May, and without being plagued by us pair. And we're back with Series 3 here. And without further ado, I shall tell you that the weather is lovely here. If it's like this all summer, I shall be very, very happy. It's overcast and it's cool and there's no sun blazing down and it's a bit rainy and a bit windy. It's just lovely. All summer, please.
I don't agree with you. I find this type of weather to be a bit annoying because it's warm, and it's warm enough that you want to be able to open a window, but it's cold, and it's cold enough that if you open a window it gets a bit too cold. But also if you open a window like a skylight, then it can rain, because it's due to rain in about 3 minutes according to the Met Office. And that means I need to close all the windows.
Don't be such a tart.
Skylights, at least. Yeah. It's just one of those unpredictable times of the year. It'd be nice if it was just really hot and sunny or gloomy and rainy. Although there has been a record amount of rain, I have to say.
Snowing and gale force winds.
Well, no, it's absolutely hammered it down over the last couple of days here. Right. It's severe, big chuck downs of rain, bucketing, I believe the phrase is, and for long periods of time, which is kind of unusual. In Northern Ireland, the saying is, what's the weather like? And if you don't like it, just wait 5 minutes because it'll change.
Yeah.
Whereas at the moment it's grey and overcast with downpours that last about 20 to 30 minutes.
Pissing down.
I didn't want to be so crude because we've got a mature, intelligent audience and they're not a bunch of twats like you.
Yes.
So, have you had any rain over in Wales land?
Yeah, it's kind of a bit rainy and it's a bit drizzly and sometimes it pours down quite hard and it's just lovely. I so like weather like this, and you can, it's not hot enough to be annoying me, and it's not cold enough to be annoying me. It's just Goldilocks weather. It's just perfect, and as I say, I would settle for this just every day of the year. Just wonderful. But then I'm an odd bod, as we know, and not with the intelligence of our audience.
Yes, you certainly are an odd bod of the highest proportion. King odd bod. Well, we're going to talk about tech news. I'm sure the audience is hoping that we'll get around to that at some stage. So we'll let you know what we're going to be talking about this week, because is the Samsung Galaxy Book6 Ultra a MacBook Pro clone with major flaws?
Beelink launches a 10GB Ethernet networking in entry-level mini PCs.
Asus are going to be back in the game of making tablets.
Chinese audio amplifier clones building $95,000 devices for $1,000.
Google Drive, is it secure enough for your more sensitive documents?
And lastly, oh no, it's not lastly, is it? But we'll come back to that. Lenovo's Game Boy clone, a controversial retro gaming device. Actually, I did sneak I did sneak another story in, which I thought might appeal to you, about this floating city, the Freedom Ship. But we'll come to that.
That's in the time permitting section.
Yes,
So
it is.
people may be disappointed if we don't get that. I just have to open the door to let a cat out again.
Yeah. Well, I'll continue talking while you do that then, in case there's a horribly pregnant pause and a silence that nobody can cope with. Actually, I'll talk about the floating city. This is a humongous ship which has got 80,000 capacity people to put 80,000 people on it, and it's got a football stadium in it, and it's just a humongous city. And the idea here is that people pay to live on it. Essentially, it just constantly goes round the world cruising, and it's a whacking great, the biggest ship ever built. And it's basically an apartment block, and it's massive, and people just, as I say, they pay to live on it, and it's a really interesting concept.
It is, yes. There's been a number of these floated over the years, that, ideas, and it just gets crazier and crazier. I think the last one it was like Infinity or something it was called. But there's no way this could go ahead. We know whenever they sell all of the apartments, how's it going to function? Because, cruise ships work on the idea that people pay to be aboard for a week or 2 weeks, and that keeps it going. Whereas if they were to sell out all of the apartments, how do they keep it going? Do they then have maintenance costs?
Yeah, they'd probably rent them or have maintenance, you're right, yeah.
But then, they'll have to pay for diesel or gas or whatever is powering the ship, and it's not going to be some sort of eco-friendly thing. The cruise ships are...
No, it's a nuclear reactor thingy. There's none of your ordinary fuels.
Right, okay. So this story can just be categorised as bollocks.
What caught my eye was the football stadium. Inside the boat, there's actually a football stadium.
That's going to be fair, yeah, and choppy seas,
Yeah, mad. Anyway, so I snuck my story in.
Well, yes, it's lovely to dream of these sorts of things, and we get to see these types of vessels in the likes of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, but I don't think we'll ever see it in reality. And whenever people go on these big cruise ships that have like 4,000, 5,000 passengers, they tend to come away from it going, yeah, there's a lot of people on board, and you had to queue to get to the Lido deck, and you had to queue to do this and queue to do that. It all looks nice in the stock shots, but you don't see the thousands of people that are on the decks, and it all looks clean and nice, but it'll stop being like that.
I can't imagine where on earth they would be able to dock it, because it's so huge that you would think that an awful lot of terminals would not be big enough to be able to let it stop. I suppose there must be some. Anyway, enough.
And they haven't taken in the fact that the Kraken is out there, and it'll probably attack it. And you won't have someone like Treat Williams running around taking it on. Well, there we go. Thorough analysis of such a shoddy, silly idea. Yes. Okay, so Samsung's flagship laptop is a MacBook Pro clone gone horribly wrong, says The Verge. So the design of this is, it features a 16-inch 2880 by 1800 OLED touchscreen. It's very nice, with a 120 Hz adaptive refresh rate. Inside of it is a Core Ultra 7 356H, which is the Panther Lake Intel chip, and it's got a Ryzen... No, it's not. It's got a NVIDIA... Ryzen? Where the hell did that come from? It's got a NVIDIA RTX 5070 GPU. The price is likely to be around $3,800, which can be converted into pounds if you care to do that. And it's got a battery that can last for 10 hours plus. However, they have highlighted that it's got a 1mm key travel that feels shallow and resembles Apple's problematic butterfly keyboards that they have used of in the past. It's got a 1080p camera that produces grainy, smoothed out video quality. The battery life underperforms compared to the MacBooks, and the performance is closer to that of a $1,700 MacBook Pro M5 than the Book 6 Ultra. So it's not a very good review there from The Verge. Ted, have you any thoughts on this?
Don't know really. It just seems bonkers money, doesn't it? And what are Samsung doing really? They're not going to. I suppose they're trying to make non-Apple users feel as though they've got something Apple quality or whatever. But I mean, it does look really nice physically, but as you say, The Verge have torn it apart basically and said, "Don't be ridiculous." And for £3,800 or dollars, it's just completely bonkers. I mean, who's going to buy that for that price? I suppose some people will. If you're really into the Samsung ecosystem, I suppose you really wanted a svelte laptop to swan about between business meetings and someone else was paying for it, then you might do. But bad keyboard and poor webcam, and just seems like someone's done something wrong here, doesn't it?
It does. I think that bigger tech companies like this just have the attitude that it'll sell, regardless of what it has, because it says Samsung on the top of it, and they can start cutting deals with other products that they sell through their website. Apple doesn't have to do that because people know that they're getting a choice piece of hardware that, some people will say that it's not as good, but it depends on what ecosystem you're in. If you're happy enough with Apple products, you'll be pleased as punch with the new Apple product. Whereas this, there are alternatives on the market that you can compare it against. And it's not fair to compare this against a MacBook because they're two different operating systems, two different hardware levels, and you have a different reaction whenever you're using it, a different takeaway. So Samsung can do whatever they like. They're not going to sell the volume that Apple are going to sell, so they can just make whatever they want. They can throw in whatever they want and cut any corners they like, and people will still buy it in limited quantity. So they will sell out, and they can price it to sell.
More interesting, I think, is what is it Acer or Asus are doing with challenging the the MacBook Neo. So Apple released the MacBook Neo a while ago, and it's like they've cut the price down to I think it's £599, and it's either Asus or Acer that have swooped in to try and challenge them on that. And that device looks like it's a really interesting one, and priced so that they'll basically grab that same crowd. But I haven't got any specific links on the fly to go deeply into that. But I think that's a much more interesting point of the market where people are going to say, £500-600, that's worth getting something, particularly if it's a kind of throw in the bag thing, not $3,800, which you're going to be very careful about.
Yeah, and the price is a big issue there, in that's a lot of money for a piece of hardware that this time next year isn't going to be particularly well suited. It'll still work, absolutely, but it's not going to be cutting edge, and to pick up those sorts of specs in a year's time, you might be able to find them in PC World or Curry's for about £800 or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to something a little more exciting, and that would be Beelink, because Beelink has become the first PC manufacturer to offer 10 gigabyte Ethernet LAN ports as standard equipment in most of its affordable mini PC lineup, and it's using the Intel's latest 18A manufacturing technology. So yeah, Beelink, you have a Beelink, don't you, Ted?
I do. I've got it here in a drawer kicking about somewhere. But the trouble with mine was that it was a really early one, and it's now completely the specs are. It's so sluggish to use, and it's slow. And the Geekon one I've got is much quicker. But this looks quite interesting. I didn't really understand what I asked Gemma to tell me about this 10 gigabyte Ethernet thingy, and she told me that you've got to be careful with this, because if you plug a 10 gigabyte Ethernet Beelink mini PC into a standard 1 gigabyte Ethernet home router using an old cable, the port will simply auto-negotiate down to 1 gigabyte Ethernet. You won't see any speed difference. So to get the full 10, you've got to get a 10 gigabyte Ethernet cable switch or router on the other end. You also need to get proper Cat 6 or 7 cables, and the old 5E ones will just not make it work at all. So basically, you can't just go and buy one of these and hope to get those kind of speeds. You've got to address your whole network and get updated with everything to get this working. But apart from that, yes, the Beelink was a nice little thing, and these little mini PCs are just great. The other complaint I had about my one was that it was noisy. So I was trying to do podcasting with it, and people could just say, "Oh, I can hear that something buzzing around in the background." So there was that as well. But hopefully they're better now.
Yeah, it is one thing that people don't quite realize whenever they're upgrading their network hardware is how much they need from it, or how much they need to change rather than just buying something with the latest and greatest. I have a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet connection between a few of my devices, but they're quite select, and well, at the time the hardware was quite costly to go out and get. But thankfully, the likes of this is actually going to signify that the price will start to drop, because it'll be out there. It'll be easier to pick up. So, yeah, 10 gigabit connections are really quite fast. Most people don't need them because they're maybe not moving huge amounts of information across a network and need it really fast. If you're streaming something in 4K, you're better off with a slightly faster Ethernet connection, which is faster than Wi-Fi probably as well. Whereas if you're moving 32 terabytes worth of information from one server to another, or you need multiple different connections because you've got lots of users and things on it, then having a faster Ethernet connection between these devices is very much recommended. But for most people who are just downloading a little bit off the internet or web surfing and things like that, the 1 gigabit connection is absolutely fine. And Wi-Fi speeds can go up to a lot faster too. So it's one of those things. I use my main computer to my Synology NAS and to my little Beelink Boss Game mini PC with 2.5 gigabyte connection, so that things don't bottleneck, don't slow down when you're transferring between stuff, or if someone else is pulling information out. If you can have multiple different connections, and that part of the network can cope with more connections coming in, because it's just got faster lanes. That would be the best way to look at it. It's a motorway compared to an A route or a B route.
So who are Beelink after with this? Do you think who is their customer base that they're going to try and flog this to? Just the nerdy geeky crowd, or is it business, or what?
I can't imagine it's really going to be business with them being these little mini PCs, but it's possible. Mini PCs can go quite nicely on a desk of some smaller business, but most businesses will not require those really fast connections. I'd say this is more to the home server chappies like me, who want to be able to move stuff for your Plex queue or whatever, and you have to throw a load of video files, or you're ripping DVDs or whatever, or 4Ks, and you just want the fastest possible connection. That's why I upgraded to 2.5. I don't need 10. That's a bit ridiculous, but in years to come, might need 10.
Yeah. It's an upward struggle.
Yes, but it'll always level off to the lowest speed that's connected to it.
Yes.
So where I have a 2.5 gigabit connection between 3 devices here, and they're not slowed by the rest of the network, which is fine. But if you want to try to get, if you've got a 2.5 a 2 gigabyte line, you're still going to be limited to what your router does. If it's 1 gigabit that's on the back of it, so you're not going to be able to speed that up. You need to replace your router for a faster router connection with or faster Ethernet on the router. So where I have a 1 gigabit line, I can't go up to 2 gigabit. It's just inside my network. I've got 2.5 operating in a little area. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's lovely. It's something you really should consider if you're moving high volumes of data, but you don't need it if you're not really.
Indeed.
Aye. So moving on to Asus, because Asus are returning to the Android tablet market with the new Asus Pad, which is their first major release in several years. I was thinking about the Asus Transformer the other day because I found a picture of it. It popped up in one of my, I think it was my image. Remember this update, notification that you get from iCloud or whatever, going memory lane photographs. The company is positioning the device as a premium multimedia and productivity tablet aimed at competing with offerings from Samsung. It's going to have a 12.2-inch dual-layer OLED display, which is a 2.8K resolution. It's got 144 Hz, 3:2 aspect ratio. It'll have 8 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. It's got up to 256 gigabytes of storage, plus a micro SD card slot, that can do up to 1 terabyte. It'll be just 6.5 millimeters thick and weigh about 523 grams, and be built out of magnesium
alloy.
That's not what it says here.
Oh, that's what I'm reading. Sorry.
And it's got a fiberglass back.
Mango what?
It's got a magnesium. No,
magnesium. It features a magnesium alloy chassis with a fiberglass rear panel. That's what I'm reading.
That's just my handwriting's pretty bad. It's got a 9,000 milliamp hour battery. It's got 45 watts of fast charging and Wi-Fi 6E support. There's quad speakers with Dolby Atmos.
Woohoo.
And it's got the Asus Pen 2.0 stylus.
Woohoo.
It has Bluetooth too. It should be shipping with Android 16, which means it'll hopefully be upgradable to Android 17 if it is any good, which I think the jury is currently out on because it's shitty AI stuff. It'll have features like Google Gemini, Circle to Search, Asus Glide X cross-device compatibility, and Face Login. Ted, a high-end premium multimedia tablet is something that I think is missing from the market at the moment. Would you have one of these?
And also one that's not ecosystem connected. So we know that Samsung tablets are just great in so many ways, but to get the most of them, you really need to be in amongst the Samsung system and using their other products and their other stuff that goes with it, and buried in the ecosystem. Whereas Asus coming in like this, I think a more independent standing thing that are just basically. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what front end they put on top of Android to see what the UI is like. But I'm kind of guessing that it probably will be quite clean, like a Sony. I mean, this like the Sony tablet used to be back in the day. It's about time Sony jumped on this one as well. Let's have another tablet, Sony. And I think that this will be quite nice in that respect. There's also an OLED panel, which is not always taken for granted. There's no indication of price here, of course. The thing about the pen the Asus Pen 2.0 stylus is a Bluetooth one, so it should be quite smart in many ways. But it needs to be thought through, and I'm sure they probably have thought it through properly, because writing on glass, which this is going to be clearly, very shiny front-end glass, the nib of the pen has got to be just right to make it feel anywhere like paper or not just, scratching across glass. So there is that as well. But I do like Asus stuff. They've been very big in the Chromebook arena over the years. And I think that they do make pretty good stuff. And this looks like it's a very nice tablet. And I think that the main attraction for me would be that, it's not locked into any system. And you if you buy one, you'll feel like it's standing alone. I do hope that it gets more than Android 17, going back to what you were saying. I would like to see them keeping up with the rest here and offering like 4 OS updates and 6 security years or something like that. I'm not sure that they will, but time will tell. But yeah, it looks really nice, and depending on the price, I would consider it. It's got a Dimensity chipset, as you said, so it may not be that expensive. It's not like it's the all guns blazing latest Snapdragon. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yes, I fancy one.
I actually think that's one bit I missed out when I was reading down this. Dimensity 8300 processor, which isn't a Snapdragon, so people will maybe have a bit of a say poo-poo about that. But yes, it all comes down to the price, because there's no way you're going to pay more for this than a Samsung tablet, because Samsung are there, established. You know what you're getting with Samsung. And if this is more expensive, forget it. No way.
No way, Jose.
Yes. Who's Jose?
Good question.
If your name is Jose, please write in and let us know why.
It's our listener in Brazil.
Do we have one?
It's him. It's Jose. Jose. We'll get a letter now, an email from Jose in Brazil. He'll say, "Oh, you name checked me."
Or possibly we'll get a complaint saying you were automatically stereotyping Brazilian people as being called Jose.
Whoops, sorry.
Yes. Well, Chinese audio amplifier factories excuse me, are legally producing high-end audio amplifier clones that sell for the fraction of the price of the original, creating a controversial market, and that signifies a quality variable. Ted, what can you tell us about this? Because this sounds something that you would be very interested in.
It is interesting, and the thing I was most interested in is about the copyright, if that's the right word, the patent. So apparently, this design of this particular one they're looking at in this article in Headphonesty, Headphonesty, I think honesty. I think it's a play on the word honesty, isn't it? Headphonesty.
It is.
Anyway, yeah. The one that they're particularly looking at the patent was 1981, and so the patent has now expired. So basically, anyone that fancies picking up the way in which it was built and what have you. This is what I don't understand about patents particularly, because some patents. They're kind of protected further, and copyright for music sometimes is renewed, and I just don't quite get. And I think it's different between different countries to some degree as well. But obviously in China they do what the bloody hell they like anyway, and they've just they've taken this design of this this old. What is it? The Burmaster 933, and they just basically built it for a fraction of the price, because they essentially don't need to make the same money as the company did when they first opened it up, and they just they haven't done anything illegal, because the patent is out there for grabbing, and you do what you like with it. So it's good for the consumer, absolutely. And if you can get something that originally sold for $95,000, in Switzerland, for $1,000 on AliExpress, then of course it's very attractive to the consumer, isn't it? And yeah, so the Krell KSA 100 replica sells for $600 on AliExpress, apparently, according to this article. I guess that these companies that started doing this in 1981 are not selling them anymore, because if they did, then they would be looking to probably sue whoever it is that's doing this, although they'd have a job in China. So why not, I say? It's a bit like these Zoom recorder replicas as well. You get these companies in China called, what's it called? If you look on Amazon, there's these Zoom recorder clones, basically, and they're all out there, and they work. They're just as good, if not better in some cases. And I think the same thing applies to some degree. It's that these companies that have been around for so long, their stuff is that they've done what they're going to do with it, so someone else can have a go. I think it's okay.
Well, is it really? Whenever when the main brand is building something for £95,000, I'd like to think that they are going to source, say, for example, capacitors, the best quality capacitors to put in there, whereas the cheaper Chinese ones are maybe going to go and get the Tesco white label or yellow pack versions. I'm showing my age there. Whenever you go out to buy sausages, there's plenty of sausages available, but spending a little bit more and buying a name that is going to be a better sausage is probably recommended. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a fatty mess that can cause your grill to go on fire.
But apparently, their consumer base are happy with what they're doing. So, it doesn't really go down into huge detail here, but that they're selling these on AliExpress, and so they must be decent. Of course, they're probably not going to be as good as
AliExpress is a big term for quality there.
No. But the point is that they wouldn't sell them if people didn't want them and they were crap. Then people wouldn't be buying them on AliExpress. Wherever they are selling them, they would they would very quickly get a reputation for being crap, and nobody would bother buying them. But apparently they're anyway. I don't know enough about this really. Back to you.
Well, if anyone who's looking at them and is going to drop $1,000, maybe just go to your local auction or go to eBay and see if you can find a nice amplifier that you like that's second hand, and then find a local electrics guy who can recap it with better capacitors. I did that with my Amstrad, and it sounds fantastic. And he's put in much better quality ones that, because they do leak and things like that after a while, and if they're just using, Tesco yellow pack or whatever they are, then you're probably going to end up losing $1,000 on that, because that's still a lot of money to throw at the wind. And to be honest, in Bargain Basement, I did originally have in a wee amplifier that I'd spotted on Amazon that was £100, and I started looking through it going, oh, this is quite nice, got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But then I read some of the reviews, and it didn't last terribly long, and the people are having trouble getting their money back, depending on where they buy it from and the seller on Amazon and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, there's better places you could put your money. If you've got $1,000, you could do a lot better at an auction. Anyway, there we go. That's
you can't buy a 95,000 Swiss original amp though.
I'm just a bit concerned that Ted's getting very defensive here. Have you bought one, Ted? Are you waiting on the slow boat?
No, not at all. No, I wouldn't buy anything from AliExpress. I think I've been stung once by them, and I wouldn't do it again. And I also can't be bothered waiting for stuff to arrive. So I'm very much in the next day delivery. But fortunately, I'm not in the market for an amp. But if I was, then if you're looking to make that kind of saving, then And this is what happens in China, isn't it? They just do what they like, and they make stuff that they want to make, and they ship it out via places like AliExpress. And you, to some degree, yeah, you take your chances, but sometimes you might get something good. What we need is a audio specialist YouTube channel to grab one of these and actually test it and say if it's complete bollocks or it's actually good value for money. But I haven't found one of those.
Yes. Just as a personal note for anyone who is listening to this, it is worth noting that if you are buying sausages from China, don't. They'll be off by the time they get here. But to be honest, I would actually recommend Lidl's Deluxe range of sausages. I had some the other night, and they were quite impressive. They good amount of meat and a high concentration of pork.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Google Drive. Make Use Of have posted an article that examines whether Google Drive is secure for storing sensitive documents and provides alternatives for privacy-conscious users. Now, I'm one person who has really tried to take my privacy back, but I have to say that whenever it comes to Google Drive, it is one thing that I find far too convenient to really commit to getting rid of. Every time I do, it pulls me back in. I'm like Pacino in The Godfather. Not that Ted likes that, but yeah. So, Ted, you would use Google Drive. Did you read through this article? Do you have any thoughts or feelings?
Yeah, the central thrust of this article is about encryption and the difference between server-side encryption and end-to-end encryption. And the point they're making here in Make Use Of is that with Google Drive, unlike some other cloud services, you don't get end-to-end, which means that on other services, nobody at the server end is able to access your data. Only you can access your data. It's double encrypted both ways. And with Google Drive, if you're going to use Google Drive, you have to accept that it's not server-side encrypted. Sorry, it is server-side encrypted, but not end-to-end, which means basically that Google hold the keys to all your data, and no doubt are using it to further their search and other services. But that's a bit of a rash allegation. But the point is that if Google wanted to, they could get into anything that's inside your Google Drive account. And you have to make your choice about whether you want that to be the case or not, or go to another service which does have end-to-end encryption. That's basically what this article's about.
Yeah. I went down a wee bit of a rabbit hole a couple of weeks ago looking for... I heard you can get tools that sit between you and your Google Drive, and it encrypts information going up to Google Drive, so it's stored on Google Drive encrypted. And there was a little self-hosted app I grabbed, but I haven't actually tested it yet, called Cryptometer. Cryptometer.
Oh, right.
Cryptomator. Cryptometer. And it does that for you, so it might be worth doing that, and it's free to self-host if you need to. There's a GitHub for it too.
Very nice. Okay, well, anyway, I completely trust Google, as you know. I don't trust many online places, but all my eggs are definitely in one basket, and until I get horribly stung one time, I shall continue with what I'm doing.
Well, yes. There's always Proton Drive as well, which is, and Sync.com, I think, as well, does another one. I had a list before, but you can go anywhere and type in a list for encrypted cloud services, and you can find a bunch. pCloud is quite good. I used it for a few years. I still have it, actually. I think I took out a lifetime subscription, but I've passed it to my wife, and she keeps all her stuff on it now. So, yeah.
Okay.
Lots of services out there. Right. Okay. So the last thing we have to talk about in the news is Lenovo, because they're releasing a budget handheld device, the G02, that resembles the Game Boy, but is actually a licensed product that contains thousands of preloaded Nintendo games, raising some rather large copyright concerns. You can get this off of, AliExpress for $73. It's got a Rock Chip 40, or RK3326 CPU inside of it. It's got a gig of RAM. It's got a 4.5-inch IPS display. There are controls on the front to allow you to interact with the games, which is always a good thing. There's a D-pad, 4 face buttons alongside an analog stick. Just one analog stick there. And at the moment, it's China only, but there's no stopping you from exporting it further out away from China. So, Ted, you're going to have one of these, aren't you?
No, the story here in Gizmodo is about the behaviour of Lenovo, though, really, because they essentially are breaking all sorts of copyright by putting original Nintendo games onto this thing. And their defence is that they're only selling it in China, and if people want to export it like AliExpress, then we can't stop them doing that. But it is our intention that this is only in China, and the law in China allows us to do this, and it's for that market only. And so they're trying to defend themselves, and other people are saying to them, well, hang on a minute, AliExpress is selling them out to the rest of the world, and they're saying, well, that's not our concern. We are complying with the rules in China. That's where we're looking to sell it, and that it's up to other people. So, I think Lenovo, possibly, if this story gets out any further, then the specialist tech press might be in a bit of shtuck, and they might end up withdrawing this and not selling it after all. But it does look like a nifty little device, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It is a bit strange that it is Lenovo, such a big name company. AliExpress has been doing this for years with smaller name companies, Ambernick and Retroid and things like that. You can buy those devices that come preloaded with an SD card that has a bunch of stuff on it. And sometimes they actually have, if they say 64 gigabytes worth of stuff on it, they might actually have it as opposed to reconfigured hardware that says that it's 64, but it's actually 8, as I found out once when I bought one. But yes, you get a whole rake of stuff in there, but they are generally quite clever about it as well, where they maybe leave out the likes of Mario or Sonic or something like that, so that they don't really annoy Nintendo. Nintendo tend to get a bit annoyed about their big franchises being included in these sorts of things, so they just go with the other Nintendo ROMs and things that Nintendo may have agreed to at one stage to go out on the Nintendo, but they don't really care about the copyright of, because it's from a different company. So you might find that's what's happening here, and Nintendo are not going to go to town on them because Mario hasn't been included, or
it might have been because we go back to we go back to the previous story, which is in China you just do what you like, and there's no controls. And even if there is Mario original games on this thingy, they can't be sued, which is why Lenovo is up against the kind of moral argument, I suppose, about doing the right thing. And even if they are allowed to do this in China, they shouldn't really be doing it because it's not right. And that's the kind of argument I think that's going on.
Yeah. But I do think that Lenovo wouldn't be stupid enough to antagonize Nintendo like that. There are Nintendo titles on there, but I don't think Mario will be amongst them. They wouldn't be that stupid.
Okay.
Not Lenovo.
Fair enough.
No one, even in China, they fear Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, there we go. That happened there. And we could go on to this extra story about the floating city. Oh, no, we've already done that. So we can move into the feedback section, where Mr. Litchfield has written in, old Steve Litchfield has written in he's done a video as well, I believe, regarding how to get in and out of your car during a server outage. Ted, tell us.
Right, okay. This is Steve's video that he put up, and it was quite interesting because cars affect most people, not me, but most people. And he says that modern cars are essentially giant computers on wheels, with built-in eSIM cards, constantly communicating with a manufacturer service. However, getting locked out during a server or network outage depends very much on how your car handles phone-based unlocking. So, brands like Volvo, Nissan, Volkswagen and older Ford setups rely on standalone apps that send commands over the internet to the central server and back down to the car. If the server crashes or you are in a dead zone, the digital chain breaks and you can get locked out. The other system, which is employed by the likes of BMW, Mercedes, Hyundai, Kia and other newer Toyotas, store a secure digital key directly inside your phone's Apple or Google wallet. These use local radio waves, so NFC, Bluetooth, or ultra wideband, to talk directly to the vehicle, meaning they work flawlessly entirely offline. So there are also some things that Steve points out about cars built between 2010 and 2019 that rely on 3G signals, and because 3G networks are being turned off, who knows what's going to happen to those cars? But the essentially the bottom line here is to avoid ever getting stranded by a glitchy computer server halfway across the world, treat phone app unlocking as a convenience rather than a primary method. Always carry your physical key fob with you, which has got a low-tech manual key blade inside it to let you mechanically unlock the door, and check for offline digital key wallet support when buying a new car. So anyway, link in the show notes to Steve's video, worth a look. And he's very up on this kind of whole digital car thing with particular regards to keys and keyless entry and being locked out of your car in this case. So does any of this apply to you?
Not really. I just use coat hangers. I find if you bend them in a particular angle, you can open any car you like. No, this is fascinating. Actually, it really is one of those things that just shouldn't be a problem, and it should be solved entirely before a car is sold. But it's great to have a bit of a breakdown, so you can ask when you're considering buying a car, or look at the reviews and see what they say about it, and make a sensible solution.
Yep.
Brilliant. Volvo, Nissan, Volkswagen all use internet-dependent apps.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, Nissan and older Fords, so Steve says.
Yeah, keeping keys in the cloud is never a good thing, and Microsoft have talked about doing that with all the keys to your hardware. Plex does that. If you want to be able to stream your local network, you have to be able to log into their website to verify that you are who you are before you can stream your own content across your network. So yeah, it's one of those things that shouldn't really exist anymore in this day and age, and you can have digital keys that are downloaded to secure areas of hardware. So yeah, that should happen.
But check when you buy your new car what the arrangements are.
Yeah. There was a fantastic one. I think it was about Ford. Is it the Ford Mustang? There was a video where the guy shows that the battery was dead, and there was no actual key for it. And what they've done is they've made a compartment down near the front wheel that you can open up and then hook that up to another battery to be able to essentially jumpstart the computer inside the car, so you can press the button and lock the door. Which means you need to go and get a battery to be able to do that. And it's got to be a large enough battery that it can boot the computer, as opposed to using a little piece of metal that's tried and tested since Model Ts way back in the day. I don't know if Model Ts used a key. I've never driven one, so I'd like to think they did. That would be cool. Did they have key rings? Ford Model T key rings? A little T?
Probably not.
Worth researching. Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, good stuff. His YouTube channel has always got some pretty cool stuff, and I like that he's doing cars. That's cool.
Cool.
All right, the next link that you've thrown in here is you've discovered the Virtual OS Museum on the internet, which is the virtual museum showcasing historical operating systems and applications that run well, you can use them in emulated environments on the likes of Linux virtual machines and stuff like that. There's a whole rake of them. They champion some stats from 1948 up until now, which is pretty impressive. There's Palm OS and Apple, Commodore, Amstrad, Gem, and Windows 1 all the way up to to the lesser operating systems that they're putting out now, because Windows 3 was the peak. Ted, what do you know about this?
Well, only what I've read, really. I thought you'd be more interested in this than I was, really, because I know that you're... Have you still got that old Windows machine you bought on some auction somewhere? So, Windows 95? Yes. Yeah, Windows 95.
It's a wonderful machine. I use it quite a lot. I've decked it out. It's got loads of new hardware and things like that in it. It's running off an SSD. It's got beautiful surround sound speakers. Yeah, it's great.
Looks good. So we'll link to the site itself in the show notes, but also an explainer in XDA Developers, which is where the article came from, really, who they've been playing with it. The idea is that you download the whole of the Virtual OS Museum, I think, and then you can just pick and choose as to which one you want to play with, and they just run on top of, well, certainly, let's have a click through and see if it runs on anything apart from Windows. You'd hope it would, wouldn't you?
Well, I know it runs on a Linux virtual machine, so...
Oh, I see. So, perhaps... yeah, we need to explore that a bit further to see where you can get hold of it. I haven't tried this, but... anyway, yes, you download the whole thing and then you can tinker about with it and play with it and look at these old systems. It's a bit like uncovering an old... teletext website, isn't it? So, right, let's have a play around with teletext and CFAX. And here you can just play around with old versions of computer operating systems. So, yes, I thought you'd be interested.
Well, yeah, because it allows you to be able to do a whole load of stuff with your computer and just play with it. The earliest mainframe that they have is the Manchester Baby, which is their test demo program. There's the Mark I scheme, A, B, C, and T, the earliest examples of system software that could be considered as an operating system. And there's various EDSAC software, which, if you know what that is, you are amazing. I haven't a clue. I'm not even going to try to. But yeah, going through all the likes of... I've always wanted to, get back into OS2 Warp. I remember that coming out. My brother bought it. Actually, it's his birthday today. I should ask him if he's got a copy of it. But yeah, OS2 Warp I'd love to run again and be able to get that up and running, because it was such a cool operating system that whenever you think back to it, it makes a lot of sense.
OS2?
Yeah, it was an IBM operating system whenever they tried to take on Microsoft. Because Microsoft had stolen CP/M and converted it into their own MS-DOS.
Okay. The first computer I remember is, apart from, is the the MS-DOS based X something. What was it now? Grief. It was about 1985 or something. And we had one of these things at work, and I used to sit there trying to do some coding on it for the sport. But the list of emulators in here is huge, isn't it? Oh yeah, I see OS2 now. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it works out 127 gigabytes zipped up, or you can get it unzipped at 180 gigabytes, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
There's a light version, which is 14 gigabytes. This seems to be a wee bit like Exodus, where you can get games in this way. So you can download a light version, and then whenever you click a thing, it'll download the actual game for you to play. This seems to be doing the same thing. There's a light version you can click, and it'll download that particular operating system that you want to use. And it makes it really easy to run it. So, yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Cool. One for the
I want to have a
tinkerers.
play with it.
Yeah.
Clicking on the installations at the top, there's a whole list of everything. Like Android, there's Android 1.1 all the way through to... Oh no, there's 0.6, 0.5. It does up to Android 3. Thereafter, it doesn't. And it's got Amstrad, NC100, and NC200 operating system. Jesus. Right. They were awful. Yeah. Lots of stuff in there to have a play with. It would be great to see what you can do with it. That's amazing time, isn't it? That you can just run all these things. Go back through history.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Good on them for doing that.
The banter section where we can chat about... We've only got one thing, and that's from you, Ted. And that's the Pebble Time 2.
Yeah, the Pebble Time 2, which Jim Fowle sent over. He's my risky tech gear pimp, and he sends me stuff over to play with. He typically gets it on Kickstarter or something, and no one else can buy this until at least August in the UK. But it's a dinky little upgrade to the Pebble watch, basically, and it really is ever so small. It's even smaller than my Moto Watch Fit. It's the same shape as the original Pebble and the Moto Watch Fit. So it's an oblong, portrait oblong. And I've only just said it's first impressions only because it's only just arrived, and I'll probably come back to it at some later date. But it's an e-ink screen. It's a 1.5-inch e-ink screen, but it's colour, unlike the first ones. It's got a touch screen of sorts, although it's actually at the moment button driven mainly. There's 3 buttons on the right hand side and 1 on the left, and you do most of it. You tap the screen to do some things, but particularly the base functions like lighting up the backlight to have a look at what's actually on it. Now, if you're out in the middle of Egypt somewhere, you'll be able to see it really clearly because it's e-ink, and the brighter it is, the better it is. But sitting here in front of my computer, it's actually quite difficult to see unless I tap it and put the backlight on. And it's got a load of sensors in it on the back. There's what you'd expect in a modern watch these days, with fitness stuff and heart rate monitors and all that sort of things, all those sorts of things. The retail price is going to be $225, but Jim got it on Kickstarter, so he didn't have to pay that much. But as I say, you can't get these yet. For love nor money, unless you went on the backed it on a Kickstarter. And yeah, my first impressions are it does look really interesting. To be honest, it's a little bit too small for my liking. I've got used to a slightly bigger watch, but the battery is just going to last forever. I turned this on yesterday about this time, so we're about lunchtime here, and I turned this on yesterday at lunchtime, roughly, and it's still on 99% battery. So the first thing I did was charged it up, and oh look, there's a load of notification. I paired this up with my Pixel 9, and it's now it's talking to it with notifications and all sorts, and you do have to learn the button presses to work out what's going on. Now, apparently in software updates they're going to make the button presses less critical. They're going to make more of the software front end to work with touches on the screen, but a lot of that's yet to come apparently. But it's really nifty, it's really nice. The e-ink is a great idea, particularly if you're an outdoorsy type. And yeah, thank you, Jim, for sending it over, and I shall be in the coming weeks using it and seeing how I get on, and testing the battery, and looking at the app store, the Pebble store, which you can download all sorts of apps. But it feels very much like Nothing OS with the community behind it, and also some of the previous stuff. In fact, all of the previous stuff, I think, all works, and it's available in the App Store. Some of it you've got to pay for. Jim paid for a watch face because he particularly liked it, and he told me that it cost £6. But then you've got it forever, the usual thing. So there are some things that are free, some things that they charge for, and I will be exploring the App Store and the watch faces and playing with it in the coming weeks, as I say. But initial impressions are, it looks really nice and nifty and a great idea, just a little bit small. So watch this space. Watch.
Yes. That's a good-looking watch, I have to say, and there's nothing better than actually having a bit of battery life that lasts longer than 24 hours, and you don't have to carry an extra thing with you to charge it up. But yeah, it's great to see Pebble coming back.
Yeah, cool. Well,
I'll buy one?
Feedback. I don't know. We'll have to see. But my main concern really is that I need to get used to how small it is. But I will try, and I do like a lot about it. I'm not sure if I want to be using the physical buttons as much as you need to at this stage to do stuff. But again, we'll see. It's about muscle memory, isn't it? It also comes with a little charging pack as well, which goes on the back, and it's got a USB-C port on it, so you can use any old USB-C cable, and it comes with a strap, which is pretty nasty. But then I don't like watch straps. I really, like watch straps, this made of this kind of silicone stuff is just horrible. But fortunately, it takes standard 22mm pins, so I've been able to just put another strap on it and just went straight on, no problem at all. So that you don't need to worry about that if you don't like the straps. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with it and putting it through its paces.
Yeah, you've just reminded me, talking about watch straps. There was a thing in the news recently about, what was the company? The Swatch, I think it was, that had launched a new, it wasn't a traditional watch, it was more like the type of watch you put in a waistcoat.
I saw that. Yeah.
And people were freaking out about it because they wanted it so much. Is this a new thing that we're going to start to see as a tech a channel that Samsung and companies are going to start putting out these new, what are they called? I can't find the name.
A fob?
Kind of, yeah. A nurse might use one, but then also, I keep thinking of Frank Thornton from Are You Being Served? He had one.
Yes. I'm trying to find it in MeWe because I posted in MeWe about it, and obviously I can't find it on the fly. Obviously, no.
Yes, well, why would you? That would be silly.
Yes, but I should
I
have
can't
been.
remember what they were
Well,
called.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll bring it to the next show. We'll bring it next week when I've done some research on it because it was interesting. You're right.
We'll forget. Because we're about to go into Bargain Basement, and that's an exciting thing. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, we'll go into Bargain Basement then, because we've got the first one that. Oh, I did these a few days ago, so I don't remember what's mine and what's yours. Oh no, this was mine. Yeah. I'll go first then. The Ugreen Nexode power bank, which is a 25,000 milliamp hour, 200 watt power delivery portable charger. It's one of those big ones that has a wee screen on it and tells you all kinds of stuff about your charging habits and what they're using and doing and things. Oh, getting messages, exciting stuff is afoot. Yes, it's got fast charging, a smart display.
This looks like a clone of the Anchor one, doesn't it? With that display, which they're all going over. There's a little button on the side which says "More than power." I wonder what that does.
More than power.
Yeah.
Oh, it does more than power it up. So, I think if you hold it down, it goes into settings and things like that. Whereas people will just press it and it'll show the screen. So they're just letting you know it does more than that.
This looks great. 58 quid, for goodness sake. The Anchor one, which looks pretty much the same, frankly, was loads more money than this. This ends in 11 hours, this offer, though. You better be quick.
No, I can't. It doesn't ship to Northern Ireland. So I have to wait for Prime Day, and then if they're doing the offer, I'll maybe pick something like this up then, or maybe get the Anchor one, depending on the price. But I think it's got the pogo pins at the bottom, so there might... No, it doesn't, actually. No.
No, because the Anchor one sits on a base thingy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking that Ugreen maybe did something similar, but perhaps they don't.
Right. Looks nice, though. It looks like I can't believe it's only 58 quid. That's really good. 200 watt delivery. 100. Well, actually, the maximum you can get is 140. It's 200 overall, but one of the USB-Cs does 140, which is really good.
Yeah. Super. All right, what's next?
The next thing is the Elgato Wave Neo, which is their little USB condenser microphone, which is just perfect for occasional podcast guests. Hint, hint, everyone. And for people that want to just use a little microphone with a really neat little desk stand for, I don't know, streaming calls and Zoom and what have you. Looks really nice. 45 quid down from 65. And I'm sure that with the Elgato name on it, it will be good, although I haven't tried it.
Yeah, that's a nice looking device.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next up is a graphics card. This is the Amazon Prime Radeon, the RX 9070, which is the overclocked edition, and it's only £500 on Amazon at the moment. That's a lot of graphics card for £500. It's down from £600. I'm not getting one of those pay over 3 months or 5 months, Ted. Maybe you are, but
no, I'm not.
Yeah. It's a beefy graphics card. I don't know how this fares review-wise, but where hardware and RAM prices and things like that, Ramageddon, I think they're calling it, is happening. It's good to see a high-end video graphics card for not a huge amount of money. So it's got 16 gigabytes of memory, and it's a PCIe 5, one HDMI 2.1B, 3x DisplayPort 2.1A, and a 2.5 slot design. So yeah, if you need a graphics card, there's an option.
Very nice. Okay, next up is the Ugreen USB-C GAN charger, of which I have the 100-watt version here. But this is the 65-watt one, which is perfectly good. It's got one USB-A and two USB-Cs in the back. But also, unlike my one, you can fold the pins down. So the 3-pin plug folds down into the body of the thing, making it easy to transport. Very nice little dinky power brick this is. And yeah, for most people that would be perfectly good. You don't really need 100 watt. And looks really nifty. £21 down from 35. What are you waiting for? Oh yeah, also, I forgot to mention, if you buy this one for £21.47, they chuck in a 1 metre Ugreen USB-C 60-watt braided cable. So you have to put that in the basket while you're checking out, and then you don't get charged for the cable.
Awesome. Wow. That's... I don't believe it. No way.
What?
Keanu Reeves? He's in Belfast at the moment. A friend got a picture of... Oh, wow. Keanu Reeves is in Belfast right now.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes. We're doing a podcast, aren't we?
Keep that for Wednesday. Projector Room is coming on Wednesday, everyone. Our film, TV and cinema podcast.
Wow. Yeah. He'll have gone by then, so we'll just throw that in here. I could tag him. Yeah. You were discussed here. Right. He'd be nice enough to probably come back and say, oh, shame I missed you, because he's such a nice guy. Anyway. Right, next up is a thing. No, that's not mine. That's yours. No, I'm doing the next one. Yes, DJI Osmo which is a little action camera that allows you to vlog. It's got 64 gigabytes inside it. It's a standard combo, they call it. It does 4K 60 frames per second, and it's got a 1/1.3 inch sensor, for 143 degree wide field of view video, 200 minutes of recording on a 64 gigabyte camera, but I don't know what standard that's at. But it's down from £279. There's a voucher on Amazon at the moment that takes it down to £251 and 10p. So this is a really good action camera that if you can attach to your body or your motorcycle or whatever, and be able to vlog as you do. My wife is actually looking at one of these because she's thinking about doing a running channel where she goes for a run somewhere and uploads it in full 4K. You know, an hour's worth of watching people run. Apparently
stuff.
people do that. Yeah. She says she does. She sits and watches, a
Good
route.
grief.
And where we're going away on holiday, she'll go onto YouTube and maybe watch a couple of routes and go, oh, that looks quite nice, I'll do that. It's like, you don't need to do it now because you've just watched it from the comfort of your own home. But this is the sort of thing that allows you to do that.
We were talking about this in our other podcast, which is PSC Photography, in the week, and because there was a cage that you can get to go around these thingies, and it turns it into a kind of street photographer's it turns it basically into a stills camera, which is quite interesting. And also they're offering me 5 months here at, well, it says 55.80, but that's based on 279, so it should be a bit less than that. But yeah, nice.
Yeah, okay. What's next?
The Tessan Tower Extension Lead, which is feature-packed beyond compare, I think. It's got it's basically that tower thing that we've spoken about before, and I've got one of these, which is great. But this one has got a 10-metre cable, and it's got 3, 6, 9, 12 3-pin plug outlets. It's got 2 USB-A's and a USB-C on the top, and also it's surge protected, and blah blah blah, and it just looks great. And it's 33 quid instead of 43, so you get 10 quid off. And yeah, the main thing about it is it's got that 10-metre extension cable though, which is pretty long. My one's only got 2 meters, I think, or is it 3? But anyway, this is really good value. If you don't want the 10 meters, you can get a cheaper one with less cable, but 12 3-pin plug thingies on it. Impressive.
Yeah. I think I bought one of these before. I don't know where it is. Did you bring this to the show once before? It looks really familiar.
Yeah, not this exact one, but as I was saying, that I bought one of these, which is in daily use, but it didn't have 12 plugs on it. It only has 1, 2 on each side, I think, and so there's a maximum of 8, but this has got 12, my one has got only 3 meters of cable, and this one's got 10. But yes, I did bring this to the show, and I bought it, and it's just not quite the same as this one.
Right, okay. I think I bought one as well, and it's been snaffled, and it's probably powering my wife's sewing machine or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. It's not up here. Right, that's annoying, but I can get another one now if I want. Okie dokie. Back to Ugreen for another go around. This is the Ugreen USB-C hub. This is a 4-in-1 magnetic 4K 60 Hz USB Type-C to HDMI adapter tool. You set this on your desk, you attach your phone to it, plug it in, and then you can use it as essentially a docky hub thing that'll push 4K 60 Hz to a monitor. And be a be-all, end-all dock for your phone. And it's down in price from £25 to £15. I mean, this does look pretty cool. I might pick one of these up for work. Not that I would be using it in the workplace. That would be deeply unprofessional. But you never know. It might come in useful and save someone's life somewhere along the lines. Or allow me to go onto eBay.
Have you got have you got a phone with a case that's got a Qi 2 thing on the back then?
I do indeed.
Oh right, okay. So because that seems to be the main feature of it, doesn't it? Apart from the pass through power. Yeah.
I suppose because I take it for granted now, I should have maybe mentioned that. Yes, yeah, it's very handy to have that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you obviously need a Qi charging capability on your phone to be able to get the most out of this.
Which you can either prop up or have flat on the floor, so you can move that arm so it's up and down, which makes it pretty good for nighttime clock viewing. Yeah, very nice.
Oh, I never thought about that clock. Yeah. That would justify it on my desk and work more so. Right. In the basket.
The last one is the Jesu Liffey, another great Chinese name, portable handheld fan, which my attention was drawn to because it was featured on Flossie Carter's YouTube channel. He put it up against a couple of other ones and concluded that this was really quite the best one. It's also got a 9,000 milliamp hour rechargeable battery inside it, which runs for 25 hours, or you can plug stuff into it and use it as a power bank and charge your phone if you need to. It's got a flashlight, a torch to us Brits, in it as well, and it has been reduced from 109 to 99. It was at one stage 89 quid, I noticed, but it has been kind of slightly reduced at the moment. But you could wait and see what you want if you want to get it a bit cheaper. But yeah, he was raving about it and he was demonstrating it, and you get all these attachments with it for various cleaning tasks and what have you, and yeah, really really nice little unit, and reduced by a tenner anyway.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good looking device.
Mm-hmm.
You could use it to cool yourself down, couldn't you?
That's the general idea. At the moment I don't need to, though. Long may it continue.
Excellent. Right, okay. Well, that about brings us to the end of the show. Keanu Reeves is still in Belfast. He's at a restaurant thing called Pie Feast. Yes.
Very exciting.
It's a bit early for lunch, is it not, Mr. Reeves? Anyway, yes, if you want to get in touch with us and relay a message on to our bud Keanu Reeves, you can by contacting us at Gareth at techaddicts.uk. You can find me on Twitter as well, at Gareth Myles, or social network formerly known as Twitter. It's GarethMyles. And then I've got my Mastodon, my Blue Sky, and my GarethMyles.com, which has a wee link to Ko-Fi or Coffee if you feel like splurging. But you can also find Ted Salmon online as well. Where can they find you, Mr. Ted?
At tedsalmon.com, with all the links in there to our Meebee groups and our audio podcasts and everything you want. And also a quick mention for my Amazon link. If you're going to buy on Amazon, then please use my link or follow the links in the show notes, because they're hooked into the same kind of thing. My link, though, is tinyurl.com/Amazon Ted UK. And if you're going just general shopping in there, then head across and use my link, please. And I get a little bit of a few pennies back if you do that. But don't do that with the links in the bargain basement, because they're all already set up. So use the links there. I'll shut up now.
All right. It gets more and more complicated, doesn't it? Just so that Jeff Bezos can blow up a few more rockets and things like that and endanger life, not to mention wildlife as well. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll catch us all next week for another star-filled Tech Addicts. Who knows who'll crop up next time around? Brigitte Bardot, Zsa Zsa Gabor, who knows?
They're both dead.
They are, yeah. That doesn't quite work. Yeah. So we'll surprise you. Take care, and we'll speak to you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.